Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Wigan hockey fans, are you ready to brave the wild with me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan? Brave the Wild is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, PodMN, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, and Double Twist. I think I mentioned Audible, not sure, but too many, right? But it's a good thing to have them. Thank you always for downloading and listening to this show, and it's a great pleasure to have you joining me today. The sun is shining again, which is good after some nasty weather the past 3 days. Nothing but rain. Of course, it felt like nothing but rain when the Wild played Colorado late last week, and then luckily we were able to kind of, sort of, kind of, sort of right the ship against Anaheim. Not the most exciting games you ever saw, but at least the Wild won both of them after losing basically 11-1 against Colorado in 2 games. That was crazy. Much closer matches ups with the Anaheim Ducks, but at least the Wild won, like I said. So, bottom line, the Wild finished 2-2 in 4 games. Definitely could be worse. Definitely could be better. It is what it is. Colorado's an excellent team. Are the Wild chances versus Colorado sunk? No, they're not sunk. It was a little bit of a reality check, though. We can't get too high on ourselves. And now we just hope that we don't get too low on ourselves either. That kind of thing. Got to stay even keel, all that kind of nonsense. 3 games to preview coming up. St. Louis and then San Jose twice, which I'm totally cool with. Then we start playing Vegas again. Vegas yet again, which I got a sneaky feeling that's going to be the series. Though right now, if the season ended, Minnesota, Colorado, baby. Well, the last 2 times Colorado was favored versus Minnesota in a playoff series, the Wild won. And the one time the Wild were favored to win against Colorado, the Wild did not win. So the underdog always seems to win in that series. 3 playoff series with Colorado over the years. Very dramatic stuff. Frustrating 6-game loss years ago to Andrew Brunette and co. I believe John Sebastian Jaguar was on that Colorado team, if I remember correctly. Nope, he was on the Ducks. He was still on the Ducks, and they won the Cup as he was their backup goalie. Whatever. Screw the Anaheim Ducks. Screw the Colorado Avalanche. It's funny how we're talking about both of those clubs today. Is there really a whole lot to say about the 2 games at Colorado? We got spanked, we got whooped, we got this, we got that. There was just no energy. The Wild were tired. You could tell they're tired. Blah, blah, blah. You know, a lot of us may be getting a little too excited, thinking we're ready to rock and roll and tear through the league. It just did not feel good. It's funny how the one guy that scored was Victor Rask, of all people, and on the power play. Wrap your head around that. He's the only guy who scored in the entire 2-game series. Colorado would have 11 goals. The Wild would have 1. So lots of ones on the board there. 11-1. Yeah, beautiful. On the power play, too. So at least the Wild are finally getting a couple power play goals once in a while. Makes you feel, like about a tiny bit better, I guess. We're up to 10% somehow, yet we're still 31st. So we're not in historic territory at the moment, but still 31st overall. 10%. We have scored a couple power play goals, haven't we? It's kind of crazy. Finally. But obviously, the top lines, the top line generally, Victor Rask, Zuccarello, and of course, Kirill Kaprizov, the star of the team generally, have not been playing as well of late. Certainly not against Colorado. There was just nothing. I mean, the Wild couldn't even get the puck hardly. It was just dominated by Colorado. They had the puck pretty much the whole game. It felt like 55 shots on goal. Cam Talbot was hung out to dry. He was just left twisting in the wind. I mean, whatever cliche you want to throw out there, it is what it is. Cam Talbot was fine. I mean, the save percentage was about 91. That's what tells you. About 91 in a game you give up 5 goals. It means you're facing a couple too many shots. We got 20 on Philip Grubauer. Woohoo. And guys like Mikko Rantanen look like I don't know, Mario Lemieux. Nathan McKinnon looked like Gretzky. Landeskog looked like I don't even know. He looked like Landeskog a couple of years ago when he was scoring more points, that kind of thing. He was on the board more often. Obviously, he's had some great seasons, Gabriel Landeskog. Certainly not the cheap shot artists they were years ago. This used to be or it's not even if they're cheap shots. They were trying to goat the young Wild players years ago, and guys like Granlund and Gronlund were considered young players because they were back in good old 14. But and McKinnon was looked on as the next Gretzky practically out there. Boy, they loved him, and he's a great player. He's a top 2, top 3 player on the planet with the McDavids, the Dreisaitl's, and McKinnons. And, of course, Sidney Crosby. Sid, not so much of a kid anymore. Sid, the 30-plus-year-old. Colorado looks good, though. They're top-heavy. If somebody gets hurt, they're bleeped. I mean, that's a fact. If somebody gets hurt, they're screwed. But at the same time, well... if they're healthy, they're dangerous. And obviously, with the Wild, if somebody gets hurt, we're screwed. And we're screwed all right. When you have guys like Luke Johnson, something called, I can't even remember his name hardly, Cramarosa. Something called Cramarosa out there. I don't know. I mean, yay, he got in a fight. That's cool. He got in a fight. That was nice to see, I guess, if you care about that. I kind of care. I kind of don't. It's just, I don't know, it was depressing. That was against Anaheim, though, not in that game. Not against Colorado. He didn't play against Colorado, but Luke Johnson did. They're just, they're guys that were draft picks for other teams years ago that never really made it, just kind of fringe NHL, AHL, this and that. Nothing personal. Don't want to be rude to them, but it's just nothing going. Wild stuck in the face-offs, again, just like, obviously, and it's not just me saying it. Oh my God! I'm seeing something that's just unbelievable. But no, if Coach Dean Evison can say we suck at faceoffs, then I, host of Brave the Wild, 12 and a half year, 13th year on the doing it, host of Brave the Wild, can say the Wild suck at faceoffs. Okay, so I'm gonna say it. They suck at faceoffs. Yeah, it's like duh. Not Victor Rask, Hartman. 4 wins, 12 losses. Victor Rask actually was halfway decent, over 50%, 10 of 9. He had 10 and he lost 9. And I guess Joel Eriksson Ek won 6, lost 4. So he had some good moments here and there. I don't need to just read up and down this type of thing. It's just still, the puck possession in this game was just drop an F-bomb when it comes to the Wild. It was not good. Oh my God, just look at all the X's on the Colorado side. I had to pull up I keep calling it Soda Stick. That's a store. Natural Stat Trick. Wild versus the freaking Avalanche. Oh my Lord. It was fun. It was lots of fun throughout the whole series. Lots of red for Colorado and not a whole lot going for Minnesota at the end of the day. It was beautiful stuff. Natural Stat Trick, obviously love it. Analytics and all that, heat map and such. And I've loaded up the heat map now. It's not really that red. It's just that it's the whole gosh darn zone. They whooped our butts. It's so depressing. The Wild is just like a couple little smudgeons, and then Colorado is just everywhere. I guess it's like an orange, so it's kind of red in certain areas where there was a lot of good chances for Colorado in this game. It was all over the place. They kind of did whatever they wanted, and of course they scored 4 official goals. The 5th one was a empty netter. 55 shots though. It's just like, what the hell can you do? Like a certain old Viking coach might say.
What the hell can you do?
Last week we shut teams out. This week we give up 55 shots. What the hell can you do? That's kind of what it was like. Well, let's just move on. I mean, obviously we lost that game and got our butts kicked and just flush this one out, like Kevin Fulness would say. Just flush this one out. We only lost 7-1. It's just one game, No, I remember that against like teams like Dallas, 7-1 and such in the past. So much fun. Talking about games like that. So while we're at it, let's just have some more fun. Let's talk about the 6-0 game. Yeah, it went from Thursday 5-1, 6-0 a game on Saturday, March the 20th. Again, I should mention I've not been feeling my best, so please bear with me. I apologize if my voice is a little bit funky. Of course, at least I can breathe now. But now, you know how colds go. They start in your sinuses and move to your throat area and coughing and such. So I might have to deal with the cough button, so to speak. It's like a sideways equal sign. Yeah, it's called the pause button. Well, we only give up 42 shots in this game. Kaapo Kähkönen was facing a little bit of everything. The Wild put up more shots, but it still felt like a diseased effort. It just was frustrating. At least we got 31 shots on net. That's the good part. But we all know how that can be kind of an overrated stat. This and that. Let's go to stat trick again. Natural stat trick. It's just, I don't know. It's like you don't even want to talk about games like this because they're depressing. But you gotta. If you're going to do a show, you gotta talk about it. And, well, it is what it is. We'll let this thing pop up. Of course, yeah, the Wild don't score a bleeping goal the whole game. Grubauer was very sharp. And I should mention this on the side. Somebody in the fantasy league I play in for Yahoo, not the podcasting one on ESPN. That one's been fun also. Kale McCarr missed an amount of games or whatever. Somebody cut him. I was shocked. And he was just sitting there. I'm like, yeah, so I put in a claim with, obviously I threw in the you can bid a certain amount of money. It's Cale Makar. I got him. I got Cale Makar. Holy crap. I was pretty shocked. Because somebody had cut him. And then, well, he was playing against us the night before. And it's like, okay. Well, he had multiple points in this one. I didn't get points from him in this one. So I don't have to feel too dirty with Cale Makar's points going against us. But right after that, yeah, I got him. I mean, stunning. I'm sure you all care about that, but still, you might care about the thought that somebody would be crazy enough to cut Cale Makar, at least put him on the IL or something. It's not just, it's not a mid-range kind of player here. So, cool. Nathan McKinnon, 3 more assists. Landeskog, another 3-point game. Jeez, Mikko Rantanen, not quite as dazzling, but he still was a +3. That top line is just ridiculous. They're tough to deal with, and they did dominate the puck most of the game again. Not as much. The Wild got better as the game progressed, but still couldn't score. That's pretty much the story in this game. The Wild got better as the game progressed. It started out like shit, pardon my French. It gradually got better. Colorado would get more dangerous chances, and as I try not to cough to that, sorry. Capo Kakinen's 9-game win streak came down in avalanche. It got buried in an avalanche of shots and scoring chances from the Colorado Avalanche. There's actually more red in this game, and that's probably why they beat him so badly. 6 goals against Capo Kakinen. They all counted against him. Still has a great goals against average, great save percentage on the season, 2.29 despite that awful game. Because he did have multiple shutouts during the course of the season. Save percentage for both of the goalies, right around 92. There's a .02% difference between Capo and Cam Talbot. So, kind of cool. Capo slightly ahead in everything. 12-5 record, of course. Again, a 9-game win streak. Second best in franchise history. Number 1 goes to Dubnyk during that 16-17 season where the Wild went on a spectacular 12-game win streak and ended up losing to Columbus on New Year's Eve. That was depressing. That was a bummer. Oh, man, it was so much fun, though. Wasn't it? During the Christmas season, the Wild were playing so well. But we all know no Stanley Cups are won in December. No Stanley Cups are won in March or April. So they're won in October once in a blue moon, once ever. But, yeah, they're not won during the early, very early spring, late winter season. Man. But, yeah, at least it was a nice run, I guess. Capo Kakinen number 2 with 8, and Nicholas Backstrom with, Capo Kakinen with 9, Nicholas Backstrom with 8, pardon me. 6-0 demolition derby, not much fun to watch. It was irritating as hell. The Wild would get chances, just couldn't effing score, and it was so frustrating. You're just begging, please put something in, anything, just please put something in. When it was 2-0, couldn't get anything going. You had a 3-goal for third period, 5-0. It's like, just bleep this. You don't even want to watch the third period. Then Valery Nichushkin was able to add his 6th goal of the year for the 6th goal of the game. That's what kind of game it was. I mean, that's just what kind of game it was. That's what kind of series it was. So if it was a best out of 7 series, the Avalanche have won in 4-2. Have won the series 4-2. If this was a best of 7, the Avalanche would have won. Of course, the Wild would have a couple more home games against this club to wrap up the season series. We'll see what happens. Maybe we finish 4-4. We'll see. Because there's a pretty good chance these two clubs are going to match up in the postseason. We'll see what happens, though, because the Wild play St. Louis 8 more times. We have not played them once. And it is March 25th. We play them tonight. So we'll see. If we beat up on St. Louis, we'll stay at least in 3rd place. 2nd place, and then it depends how things go between Colorado and Vegas, of course, because it's like the good old days where 4th place makes the playoffs. You play the 1st place team, 2nd place plays the third place team, just like the good old days in the Norris Division, Campbell Conference, blah, blah, blah. Minnesota versus the Blackhawks, and St. Louis versus, who's the other couple teams there? Toronto, probably. I can't remember now. Damn. Because I remember there was Minnesota, St. Louis, Chicago. Those were like the mainstays in that division. I think we had Tampa Bay, like the very first year. I think they were in our division. Their very first year, which is weird. And then Toronto was in our division. I know that much. Back in the day, but Toronto was never in the playoffs in the early 90s. They just weren't good back then. Can't remember. Shoot. Now I'm remembering. It was the Detroit Red Wings, of course. They were in our division. It seems so foreign now because they've been in the Eastern Conference for a while. But yeah, I mean, Detroit was always the mainstay in the Western Conference back in the day, or Campbell Conference. It was Detroit. That's who it was. The North Stars played the Blackhawks, the Blues, and the Red Wings, blah, blah, blah. That's who it was back in the day, or Toronto instead of the Red Wings, because back in the 80s, the Red Wings never made the playoffs, kind of like now. It's weird. But yeah, 6-0 demolition derby, depressing. Let's move on to a couple of not very exciting games that at least the Wild won. It was that kind of situation with Anaheim, especially the first game. A lot of that same kind of malaise that we saw against Colorado. I mean, it was malaise. It's like they just dominated the puck the whole game. I don't know if it was lack of confidence, fatigue, or what, but it's like the Wild were just like, okay, what do we do? I mean, what the hell? And that's kind of the look I saw on Kirill Kaprizov's face against Colorado. It was just like, what the hell can I do out here, man? I don't know. And you felt kind of a similar malaise, and you see the guys that are scoring in these games are guys that haven't been scoring much of the year. Ryan Suter finally scored his first goal of the season. Finally, it was a nice shot, obviously, nice shot on net, and all that. Another power play. So there you go. At least we're getting power play goals once in a blue moon. Ryan Suter, obviously, everybody's frustrated with the thought of Suter on the power play. I mean, Spurgeon finally getting a couple points this week. Good for him. He actually had a really nice week. Let's be honest. Spurgeon, when we actually scored goals anyway. Nick Bukestad obviously doesn't score a whole lot. He's the typical, bottom six type of player. Susie and Sturm factoring on his goal. It was obviously nice getting the puck on net. It's just simple as that, pretty much. Ended up being the game winner in a 2-1 game that wasn't all that exciting. And, gosh, well, more than half into the game, the Wild finally scored. It just was like, it was not a fun game to watch. And you're going against a 40-year-old goaltender. We only mustered 23 shots on the guy, but luckily 2 of them went in. And Cam Talbot, who's been unbelievable at home, and the Wild have been unbelievable at home as well. I believe we have 10 straight home wins now, which is a franchise record. Cam Talbot has been unbelievable at home. Kakanen's been unbelievable on the road, except in Colorado, I guess. But, yeah, he's had a couple of bad games against Colorado this year, actually. Talbot faced 55 shots. Nobody can, what the hell are you going to do about that, honest to God? And again, it just does not help with Dumba obviously getting hurt against the Blackhawks. They look like the Blackhawks, don't they? The Colorado Avalanche. An ankle, like 90% chance it's an ankle. Of course, we don't want to say that out loud because we got to worry about the safety of the players. I know. But, I mean, it's obvious. Anybody that saw it. What else could it be? When your skates just kind of go into the boards, when you're sliding right into the wall. What else could it be? That's what happened to Suter, but not as severe as Suter. They're talking how it's not as bad as it looked, but, a couple of weeks probably still, unfortunately. I mean, you're just missing too many guys. It's so depressing. Obviously, missing Foligno has just been a huge thing. He's an unbelievable third-line player. He's not a second-line or first-line guy. He's just an incredible third-line type of guy. Unfortunately, that is most of the team. I mean, Greenway's capable of being a top 6 type of guy. And Eck is kind of like in the middle. He's like a middle 6. He could be second and third. I would never put him on the fourth line at this stage. Zuccarello, he's like a middle 6 to me, even though he can be so spectacular. But his magic is seeming to be running out lately. The Wild did not do well in the faceoffs again against the Ducks. Ducks dominated the Wild on the faceoff in this game. Dominated. Only Bonino had a winning percentage. I guess Bukestad did too, but barely. It's like 3-1. Woohoo! Jules Eriksson Ek, he's got to get better at it. Hartman's not good at it. Rask is just mediocre. You could go on forever. Nice to see Sturm get a point. Doesn't have a whole lot of assists on the season, but it kind of is what it is there. 2-1 win for Minnesota in a not very exciting game, but at least a win's a win. It stopped the bleeding. Stop the bleeding. That's what matters most at the end of the day. 3-2 win last night versus the Anaheim Ducks. Again, not an exciting game, but slightly better than the day before. The Wild wind up with 3 goals. I mean, that's the only thing that's better pretty much is 3 versus 2, though we also gave up 2 in the game. But the good news is we never trailed in the game. Anaheim kept tying it up. Very physical, very back and forth kind of game. Ryan Miller was in net both games, and we only mustered 5 total goals against Ryan Miller. Good job for him, to be quite honest, because I mean, you'd think that was John Gibson in that. He's obviously struggled a bit lately, but there's just not a whole lot of energy in front of him. Not a whole lot. It's been ugly for the Ducks this season. And there's talk of how, Kevin Fiala's just on an island out there. It's sad. Like, he does the best he can. He got 4 shots on goal, generally speaking. He does the best he can, but he's on his own, and he's easy to defend because of that. Joel Eriksson just absolutely demolished in the face-off circle. 13 losses, 3 wins. What is going on, man? What is going on? Rask, 2-9. 2 wins and 9 losses. It's just stuff. You don't want to necessarily look at stats and go up and down, but it's like, what the fudge knocking? What the fudge knocking? Adam Henrique, the opposite, 13-3, great record. Like it's like the 2011 Vikings versus the 2017 Vikings. Yeah, basically, Adam Henrique. Jeez, that's pretty crazy. Obviously, just again, not an exciting game, but exciting to see Nico Sturm's hustle and the way he was able to get to the net and finish. That was awesome. Super thrilled, though, to see Spurgeon get a couple goals in the game. Just, again, putting the puck on net. Obviously, he redirected a shot in one of the cases. I believe it was from Soucy. Soucy putting the puck on net. Yeah, Suter, excuse me. What am I saying Soucy for? Suter put the puck on net, and Jared Spurgeon was able to redirect it at the last moment. He kind of knocked it down. And Kirill Kaprizov, thank God, finally got another point. He'd been so quiet, the poor guy, and I can't imagine the frustration. 16th assist on the year, though, which is way at the top for Minnesota. Spurgeon, again, another assist from Suter. This one was just simply putting the puck on net on the power play, which is what you want to do, to hope generate some kind of a rebound or something, and it went in. And Spurgeon, multiple goal game. And, of course, again, Nico Sturm off of Bukestad's shot, bouncing away. I thought Ryan Miller had the puck. I really did. It's like, okay, it's just a simple situation where you're putting the puck on net. Miller has the puck. He's going to either freeze it or flip it to a defenseman when they're ready to go. And he just never had control of the puck for some reason. I don't know what happened to Ryan Miller there. I'm sure he's just furious with himself at that moment. Nico Sturm, hustle. That's what it's all about, hustling and just poking the puck. Because once in a while, things work out. And Nico Sturm went up with his 4th goal of the season, ended up being the game winner, as Anaheim would go after Talbot pretty good down the stretch. Went up with 30 shots on that for Anaheim. One of their better moments there. It was a pretty good third period for Anaheim versus Minnesota, and winning all those face-offs and all that. Puck possession definitely dominated by Anaheim in the third period, but Cam Talbot was very solid, very clutch down the stretch, and the Wild ended up winning the game. 3-2. Thank you, Cam Talbot, along the way. And Anaheim just not able to score. It is what it is. It is what it is. With that said, the Mike Modano Award winner for this week, it's going to go to Jared Spurgeon. He's been due. He's been due for a Mike Modano Award. Multiple goals. He had 2 goals, 1 assist. You could even say it's Cam Talbot. What a strong week he had as well. A couple of wins here. A couple of wins at home and all that. Very strong couple of games. But again, holding his own, getting a save percentage about 91 versus the Colorado team with 55 shots isn't anything to sneeze at. 5 goals sucks, but it's 55 effing shots. What are you going to do against one of the best lines in the NHL, if not the best? So Talbot's going to get an honorable mention just for that reason. And of course, the fact he wound up with 2 wins anyway. The James Shepard Memorial. I don't know. It was an overall frustrating week, generally speaking. The injuries, not winning in the face-offs. It's just, it's kind of another multiplayer thing where there's no single guy you just want to bash on and beat up. It's just the lack of puck possession in a lot of these games is extremely frustrating, and just not being able to win face-offs. I don't understand it. Parisi actually was pretty solid for the most part, but now he's out with COVID, supposedly. So we all know how that can be. Maybe, hopefully, it's a false alarm, blah, 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 false positive, as they call it. But it's nice to see Spurgeon now suddenly up to 9 points. He was stuck at like 3 or 4 for the longest time. Now he's at 9, so he's picking it up a little bit. Obviously, a worthy power play defenseman. Even though it'd be nice to see, obviously, Dumba, but he's hurt. So what are you going to do? And then somebody like Susie, who actually he didn't have a very good week, to be quite honest. Since moving up to the second pairing, he's not as good. He's a more solid third pairing guy. That's just a reality sometimes. Some guys just aren't as good as you think when their roles move up. Obviously, guys moving up to second line that don't belong there, they're not going to do well. And Victor Rask is no solution at any in any top 6. It's not going to happen. He's a bottom 6 guy, if not bottom 3, if you know what I mean. Just a fourth liner. He's had some nice moments. He can be clutch, but he's more of a quirky clutch guy. He's not a star. He's not obviously he's not a star, but I mean he's not he's not a reliable top 6 or even middle 6 type of guy at the end of the day. He just has his moments. Hopefully this club can find some type of solution to help Fiala become more, get the production out of Fiala that is there. The production's there. It's just that if he doesn't have somebody there to help him out, like a legitimate center, he's going to struggle. Him and Eric Stahl were actually pretty good together. It's just Stahl was slow, but at least he set up Fiala really nicely. That's why Stahl got so many points last year, despite the fact he looked like he's done. Like, he looked cooked out there. But he really set up Fiala nicely, and the two of them, really had some nice points last year. They were in the top 3 the rest of the season in scoring for the Wild, Fiala and Eric Stahl. So Stahl's missed in that sense. It's just obviously the reliability and, guys like having to lean on Eric Stahl, guys like Eric Stahl all the time. Those days had to come to a close, obviously. You don't want to just come here and raise your family. You want to come here and win a cup. If you end up raising your family on the side, fine. But let's win a cup. Let's win a cup. Let's compete for a cup. Blah, blah, blah. With that said. So the face-off circle, generally, I'm going to say is the big thing. But obviously, one of the duds of the week would have been Susie. Disappointing. Rask has not been nearly as good, even though he did get he got the only goal in Colorado, which is funny. Eriksson Ek hasn't been as good. I don't think so. Zuccarello's just vanished. Like, he's kind of like, he's vanished. He's a point a game still, which is crazy. That just tells you how good he was playing for a while there. He's still a point a game. But frustrating generally for some of these guys. Thank God we came out 2-2 at the end of the day. With that, we'll take a quick break and we'll preview the 3 games against 2 teams. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 2. And the song you just heard, boy, that is the song I always think about when I look at the NCAA hockey bracket. Of course, men's Minnesota is back in the NCAA hockey tournament, and all 5 Minnesota colleges are in the NCAA tournament. Going to be cool. Hopefully at least one of us wins it. And I'm obviously rooting for the Gophers by far over the others. That's just how it is. I'm a Gopher fan, damn it. Also, again, we're going to preview 3 games against 2 teams. That's where the confusion comes in. We play the Sharks twice. We play St. Louis once, and all that good stuff. But first, let's hear from Vig It, the Vig It application. They are affiliated with Brave the Wild and my other podcast, Purple Mafia and Timberwolves Explosion now. The Vig It application. It's basically free sports betting. So on social media, it could be a social media for sports bettors. You can post about your picks, see what others are saying about games. Yeah, you could have a betting league, a month-long betting competition to see who is the best sports bettor over the course of a month. You can bet free coins and win real prizes. Again, this is not betting real money. It is play money. It kind of looks like Bitcoin in a way. That's kind of like probably what they're going for with the logo, the V with the little lines through it. Again, it's an application you can get on Apple or Google /Android. You get the idea. That's basically what smartphones are, Apple or Android these days. Again, like some kind of a national betting thing, like, of course, the NCAA tournament for basketball. They should have one for hockey on there, too, but I'm guessing It was the basketball one. That was a big thing as well. Like, your picks and everything, brackets, this and that. But maybe you can bet individual games at this stage. That's something you can do where the bracket wouldn't be the case. But you could bet individual games like hockey, basketball, football, soccer, anything. It's fun to do. And it's free. It doesn't hurt anybody. And again, there are like national competitions where you could actually win real prizes, this and that. And, of course, have fun in some kind of a league with, say, like I create a Brave the Wild league where we bet games during the course of a month, this and that. And I got to get that thing set up. But do join the Vig It application. When it says referral, who referred you, basically put Paladinolive, all one word, Paladinolive, and I'll put that in the show description. I'm doing this on the fly. I was going to create an application, but I seem to do it better on the fly. Sometimes creating an ad, it just never sounds right. Sometimes it's just better to just do it on the fly, this and that. And that's how I'm going to handle it for now. Maybe eventually I'll actually create an ad. I used to be able to do that kind of stuff. But now I'm just not patient enough for it. NCAA hockey tournament, we'll get to that very shortly. I just pulled that over here. But we got the Wild to talk about first, and then we'll talk about the NCAA hockey tournament when it's prospect conversation. As well, most of them are in Boston College, and guess what? They're in the same super region as the Minnesota Gophers. Not the immediate region, but the super one, so to speak. Let's move to Minnesota Wild hockey first. St. Louis Blues. We finally play the St. Louis Blues. It's only March 25th. March 25th, and we finally play the Blues. About time, and we got 7 more to go after tonight. Well, they're banged up a little bit, but it's mostly lower-end players. No offense to any of them. And, of course, Zach Parise, COVID-19 protocol, lower body injury, most likely an ankle, but, and then foot for Foligno. That type of thing. Those are, we'll see with Foligno, probably a crack, a fracture of some sort for him. That can take like a month or more. Dumba, like probably a week or 2 more to go, but like at least 1 week already as of March 18th. Yeah, already a week ago. And then Zach Parise, COVID-19 protocol for the St. Louis Blues. That's what I was trying to say. Torn ACL, ouch, for Oscar Sundqvist. He's out as of March 19th. That's unfortunate. Torn ACL, left game. Yeah, he just left the game. It's only a torn ACL. Come on. Mackenzie McEachern, that's a cool name. Sounds like an Irish Canadian. I think so. Most likely. Upper body injury for him. So, And then you get right knee, left game for Carl Gunnarsson way back on Feb 22nd. That doesn't sound good. Who knows what that is? They didn't say ACL or anything. Where it's like when it's an ACL, it's an ACL. I mean, it is what it is. It's unfortunate with injuries and such. Our injury is pretty significant, of course. And then Parise's out. He's third-line player, blah, blah, blah. 8 more games. 8 more games to go with St. Louis, of course, tonight. Then you get April 9th, April 10th, April 12th, April 26th, 28th, 30th. Wow. And then May the 2nd. It's all like 4 games in like the final part of the season. So, boy, don't lose all those games. You might be done. Postponed game versus the Los Angeles Kings on the 15th of March. St. Louis Blues lost to the Los Angeles Kings. Sorry. 4-1 on March 17th. Happy St. Patty's, Los Angeles. San Jose Sharks got swept by St. Louis in back-to-back games. Nice job by the St. Louis Blues there. 2-1 and 5-2. And then Vegas put the whoop ass on St. Louis. Binnington looked awfully frustrated. 5-1 defeat a couple nights ago. The Vegas Golden Knights beat the Blues pretty good. It is what it is. Wild are playing on a back-to-back. St. Louis is on a 3-day rest. So, okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. St. Louis is 16th in the league in goals for. Wilder 18th. Goals against 21st. Binnington, struggling. Wilder 8th in the league in goals against, even after that demolition in Colorado. 19th on the power play, 19.1%. Wilder now 10%. We're finally in double digits, but still last place in the National Hockey League. 27th place in the penalty kill. 73.3 for St. Louis. So take advantage on the power play, Minnesota. Well, take advantage on the power play, please. 5th in the penalty kill for Minnesota, 85.3. Penalty minutes, Minnesota and St. Louis both in the bottom half. Basically 16th for St. Louis, 20th for the Wild. So, meaning like it's bad. Like the more penalty minutes you have, the worse you are, so to speak. St. Louis Blues still have a lot of their better players. Jordan Binnington has never been the same since his unbelievable rookie season where he won the cup and everything. It was phenomenal. David Perron and Ryan O'Reilly leading the club in scoring. Not too surprising there. Guys like Braden Shen, Mike Hoffman, who was the new addition in the offseason, has 8 goals on the year with 20 points in 31 games. Vince Dunn, he's a guy a lot of people thought was going to be a little bit better. He's been just adequate, pretty much. He's like a bottom pair, pretty much. Marco Scandella, former Wild player. We've almost forgotten about that guy. Only 4 points for the Blues in 25 games. Thank God for the cough button. Okay, sorry. Vladimir Tarasenko finally returns, and he's got 5 points in 8 games. Only one of them goals, but hey, nice addition, obviously. He's doing kind of what Kaprizov was doing early on with all the assists at the beginning, setting players up rather than doing the scoring. But we'll see what happens. Tarasenko's had a lot of success against Minnesota in the past. At least Jordan... At least Jake Allen isn't in net. It's Jordan Binnington. We'll see what happens. Binnington's had some success against Minnesota in the past, though, but he's not having a great year, and he had a much worse season last year. St. Louis competitive this year. Obviously, they had a good record last year, but then things just went down the toilet in the bubble. It was like ridiculous. They went just down the tubes. Parenko is not having much of a year either. He's been out quite a bit, but he's healthy now. Ville Husso is the backup, and he's giving up 3.4 goals against. Save percentage 88.5. That's not going to get it done. Binnington, again, just mediocre at best. Kind of look like Stalock and Dubnyk right now. Kind of. No offense, but that's kind of what's happening. Chance for the Wild to maybe put some points on the board here, get their offense rolling. Take care of this team if you can. We'll see. We only got 8 more games to go against them, so yeah. Let's take care of business here. They're a beatable team. They're certainly not as scary as some people thought, but I'd say they're still on the fringe playoff team. They're probably better than Arizona at this stage. Arizona's been very frustrating off and on during the course of the season, and I do think they have more weapons in St. Louis than they do in Arizona at the moment. What are the Wild going to do tonight? I don't know. I got to think the Wild win this game, win our 3rd game in a row. And I gotta think so. Another home win. What would it be? Our 11th win in a row, continuing the franchise record. That'd be awesome. The Wild have a chance to really build something this week. Maybe win up to 5 games in a row here with the Sharks and the Blues. I gotta hope so. If the Wild come out flat tonight and lose, I think I'd be very disappointed, to be quite honest. I think the Wild end up winning the game. Kaapo Kähkönen, you got to put him back in at some point. I would hope so, especially in a back-to-back. We'll get to see Kaapo Kähkönen. I think he gets the job done. The Wild win 4-2 over the St. Louis Blues. 4-2 win at the end of the day. Maybe it's an empty net or something like that. Maybe this thing goes into extra period and the Wild end up scoring an OT. I don't know. But 4-2 win for Minnesota. That's where I'm standing right now. Most likely guy to score in the game is going to be Kevin Fiala. He's due. But again, I suppose he really needs a center. And if the Wild are going to trade for anything, even if it's just like a decent guy, and you don't have to give up the farm, just a decent middle six kind of center, but who's a good playmaker, that kind of thing, where you don't have to give up the farm. Because I don't think this franchise is willing to give up the farm right now and go crazy. Go all in and like screw up everything and trade away like Boldy and such. I wouldn't be real happy with that, to be quite honest. And Dumba's trade value just continues to drop, unfortunately, because he's just he's not as good as some people thought. It's no offense, I'd like to believe he's a 50-point guy. I know the skill is there, but the results haven't been. So, I mean, that's why. Maybe I hope I'm not pissing people off, offending people by saying this kind of thing. And also by saying Parise was never really like a superstar, because he wasn't. Parise was never a superstar. A star, maybe, not a superstar at the end of the day. There's a difference. He was never a McDavid. He was never really, he was never a Draisaitl type of guy. He's not on that level. Malkin, he's about a tier and a half below. At the end of the day, Wild win 4-2 though. Most likely got to score. I'm still going to go with Fiala. He's got to get his 10th goal at some point. 3 days off from Minnesota. Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. That's nice. So good break there. Then you get the Sharks in San Jose, the Shark Tank. I think you go with Kähkönen again. I mean, he's got to go in one of these games because he's had such an amazing road record. Even though it does look like Cam Talbot's going to get the nod in, 2 out of 3 games. I think that might be the ratio for now. Or we'll say 3 out of 5 games, something like that. 3 out of 5, 4 out of 7, that kind of thing. Because you don't want to go crazy and give one guy the net every night and wear him out. That's the last thing you want, especially when he's, especially when he's north of 30 already. While the Sharks trail the series, I don't know why they're saying Sharks trail. It should be the Wild lead the series. It's kind of funky, but that's how that goes. It's from a Sharks perspective, I guess. The Wild won the first game of the season 4-1. Sharks beat us 5-3. Oof, 6-2 demolition derby. It's been a while since we played the Sharks. I think you can take advantage and beat this club. Obviously, the goaltending is what it is. They're 22nd in goals for, 24th in goals against, way below the 8th place Wild. 23rd power play with 18%. Still, it's not that bad, but it's bad enough, I guess. Penalty kills 15th, which is beatable, of course, 79.4. And penalty minutes, they get a few more than Minnesota. They've gotten a few more anyway. The Sharks are 2-3 in their last 5. They lost to Vegas 5-4 on the 17th. They lost to St. Louis 2 games in a row, just like I was mentioning, the 2-1 and 5-2. And then they beat the Kings back-to-back. Or not back-to-back, but in, 2 games in a row anyway. 2-1 beat the Kings on the 22nd. And on the 24th, 4-2 victory for the San Jose Sharks. They're 1 game under 500, but it feels like a mile. Obviously, they're not a playoff team. They're not in contention. They'll be in the draft, this and that. Everything, pretty much almost all their categories are in the 20s except their penalty kill, which is right in the middle. Devin Dubnyk does have 1 shutout. He's had a couple of moments this year, but goals against average on this club. It's not a good defensive team, even though you have 2 potential Hall of Fame defensemen. After that, it's like, ugh. It's not a good group of players right now. It's a big mess. Evander Kane is an ever-capable scorer. Coulter is obviously an ever-capable scorer. And then it's just kind of like it drops off. Thomas Hertl, he's always been kind of off and on. Brent Burns, future Hall of Famer, 18 points on the year, 5 goals. And he always seems to pick it up against us, though, and he has every right to because we traded him away. Erik Karlsson, who earlier this week said, I didn't sign up for this, like the frustration in San Jose. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did, because you wanted that big, giant contract, and now it messed up the salary cap situation. So, I mean, it is what it is. That'd be like Parisi and Suter saying that. Well, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Sorry. You did sign up for it. I hate to break it to you. Sharks only have 1 guy on the injured list at the moment, or injury status, so to speak. Lower body injury for Matt Nieto as of March the 20th. So that's how that goes. Minnesota, in these 2 games against the San Jose Sharks, there's a very good chance we sweep this club, and I think we should. I think there's a really good chance the Wild go 3-0. And it might sound way too optimistic, but why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we be able to sweep the Sharks here in these 2 games and then get a 5-game win streak? I think this club is ever capable, and against the Sharks, you could be having these 5-2 type of games, 5-3, maybe have a lower scoring one, but I don't think it's going to be lower scoring as the Sharks. It's going to be like 4-2, 5-3 type games. Kirill Kaprizov is going to get at least his 11th goal on the season in one of these games. We'll say the first one, and then the second game, it's like you want to say Parisi, but I don't think he's going to be playing in any of these. Wish Foligno could come back. I mean, that's the one thing that could hurt us, but I mean, take advantage of these games and win all of them, win all 3 of them. St. Louis might be the one we actually end up losing, sadly. It might be, and I think we sweep the San Jose Sharks, but for now I'm going to go with the optimistic route, because the St. Louis Blues aren't that good. I'm going to go with the optimistic route and pick the Wild to win all 3 games, which is a little crazy to some, but it's ever possible. Ever possible. The most likely guy to score in the second one will be Jared Spurgeon's going to get yet another goal. He's going to get his 4th goal of the season. Yeah, I mean, he's been playing great. Why not? Why not Jared Spurgeon getting his 4th goal? The Wild go 3-0. Now let's talk about the prospects in the NCAA tournament. Other than the NCAA tournament, it's pretty much Iowa at this stage because, obviously college players did not play any games since the last show, other than, of course, well, they played tournament games, this and that, a couple of them, generally speaking, but mostly we were just waiting on this, at the end of the day, waiting on this tournament to be posted out on Sunday. Actually, there were no college games. The last games ended on, Monday, and then you had to wait, and wait till Sunday to get this, to get the bracket out. Obviously, a lot of the Euro leagues, all the players in the Euro leagues, those playoffs are already over. It's pretty crazy. And the junior leagues are just kind of, messing around. Ryan O'Rourke is still on the Iowa Wild, which is pretty crazy at the end of the day. It's going to be fascinating to see how some of these players do, though, moving forward in this tournament and such. Looking forward to seeing how Mr. Beckman does. I mean, Adam Beckman, love him very much. Obviously, Spokane Chiefs still. But, yep, looks like he's finally playing. Yep, so we get to talk about some of the juniors. Yep, WHL's playing at least, not the Q. 4 points already for Adam Beckman in 3 games. 2 goals, 2 assists. Picking up where he left off, sort of. Obviously, off to a good start thus far is Adam Beckman. Very happy for him at the end of the day. I think, I don't know why I'm going to the EuroLeague with Pavel Novak. Pretty sure this season is over already. Which has got to suck, because then you got to wait forever. At the end of the day, you got to wait and wait and wait. Yeah, all these numbers are the same from what I remember. Yep. And he was waiting to go to the WHL. And, he's waiting to go to the WHL. Maybe he's on the COVID protocol. That's probably what it is. You know what? Because you're, it's coming from Europe. That's like 2 weeks at least. So he's stuck in limbo. That sucks. Philip Lindbergh. There he is. Philip Lindbergh will be in the NCAA tournament. We're going to have so many players in the NCAA tournament. I think, pretty sure, I'll check on Jacob Golden, but I'm pretty sure that Adam Beckman's like the only junior player really playing right now. Other ones are in Iowa at this moment. McGill University. What the heck? For Jacob Golden, McGill University. Okay. Well, because the OHL is not playing. And there's nothing going on in McGill University. So, okay. Some Canadian college there. God bless him. No, I don't know, man. At the end of the day, let's go with Iowa. Because obviously the EuroLeagues are what they are. You got to see Hunter Jones finally get a win. I'm happy for him. Ryan O'Rourke is at 3 points on the season in 13 games. He has not been sent to juniors. Joseph Grammarosa, of course, is in Minnesota, of all places. And Damon Hunt had a couple moments. I'll check up on him in a second here. Damon Hunt. Obviously, a lot of people excited about him moving forward as well. He actually had a pretty good week. He's in the WHL. Yeah, that's right. He had a very strong week. He was the player of the week from MNW Prospects. He's the captain of the Moose Jaw Warriors. 7 points in 7 games. 4 goals, 3 assists so far in the WHL. At least you got the WHL going, and he is doing fantastic thus far. He's at a point a game right now. He had only 15 assists last year when he was an alternate captain in the WHL. And he was in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League at a point before that. Moose Jaw Warriors. He wasn't putting up spectacular numbers, but now it looks like he's taking that next step. It's going to be exciting to see Damon Hunt put some big numbers on the boards. Big numbers on the boards there. That'd be great there, eh? Hunter Jones finally getting a win. He only gave up 3 goals, and he gets a win the other night. That was awesome. It was against the Rockford Ice Hogs. And then it's a back-to-back against Rockford again. And they force him, they put him back out there, and he gives up 5 goals, and they lose. It's 6 goals, 6-1 loss. Come on, man. Put Joseph Rumpel in or something. Rumpelstiltskin out there. Not sure what's going on with Derek Barebo. He's clearly the best goalie in the AHL right now. Hunter Jones has been in 8 games. A young junior goalie, and you're forcing him out there. 1-6 record, and it's a bummer. He's just too young. Bryce Misley. Bryce Misley's gone pro. It's Misley. Bryce Misley. I'm finally saying it correctly now. Coming from, oh my God, Vermont University, all done. Obviously, a couple of frustrating years for him, but we'll see what he does in the AHL. He's obviously on a professional tryout right now. Well, I'm really hoping the best for him. I like him. Calgary, Alberta, wanted success. You feel bad for young guys when they're stuck on teams like that. There's just nothing going on. It's like purgatory. It is what it is. How do you think we all felt about Marco Rossi playing for Austria? It was, worse. Like Minnesota versus Colorado, the 5-1 game with the 55 shots on it. It was worse than that. It was unbelievable. So that's just how that goes. Iowa, they finally got a win, but generally speaking, then they lost right away. So any good feeling you might have had, you don't feel good right away after that. Mason Shaw continues to put up numbers. He's again in and out. I guess he finally got to play in back-to-back games. Kalen Addison is dominating. 8 points in only 11 games. A lot of people begging to have him up on Minnesota, but looks like it kind of is what it is. We're going to stick with Brad Hunt right now in a lot of the games, playing on the third pairing right side. And, of course, Kalen Addison is more of a, you want to see him in a second pairing, that kind of thing. But, I don't know, and maybe you don't want to put him out there in a second pairing right away at this age. But he's damn good, though. He's damn good. He looked promising with Minnesota in the few games he got to play earlier in the year. Gabriel Dumont is dominating. Generally speaking, he's by far the leading scorer on Iowa. And it's like, he's not spectacular, but he's the dominant scorer for the team. Like, every time someone scores, Dumont has something to do with it, an assist or a goal. He's leading the club with goals and assists. 7 goals, 8 assists, 15 points in 14 games for Gabriel Dumont. Again, Mason Shaw, very solid. Damien Giroux and Connor DeWeer just under Kalen Addison, doing well. But, of course, they're centers compared to Kalen Addison being a defenseman. The goaltending has been tough, and, again, you feel for Hunter Jones. I mean, it's not something where you're like, oh, well, too bad. No, he's kind of getting thrown out to the wolves here at a very early stage. I hope it doesn't mess up his... I really hope it doesn't mess up his confidence. And Louis Belpedio, I don't know what to think. What's going on? He's been out, and is he? You know, it's been a struggle, and it's frustrating. I wish, you know, I think it's his last year with Minnesota, the Minnesota organization, because I think it was another 1-year deal. I don't think he's coming back. I think this is it. He's going to wind up in some other organization at some point, probably play in the AHL, and we'll see. It's too bad. It is what it is. There's multiple reasons for him to not come back. Looks like there's been becoming a little bit of friction, obviously, with that injury, and he feels he should be collecting an NHL contract because the NHL money at the moment, because the injury happened and the NHL came. So frustrating at the end of the day. Iowa, not that great, obviously. Let's get to the NCAA tournament before I take much more time up. The number 1 overall seed, North Dakota, will be playing American International, who's been a giant killer in the past. Hopefully they do it again, because I don't like North Dakota. I don't like North Dakota at all. And they're playing at home, of all places. Shells Arena, Fargo, North Dakota, ESPNU. So their region, they'll get to go to... there's a pretty good chance they'll be in the Frozen Four with that home ice advantage, but we'll see. You know, American International's a giant killer. Michigan's very dangerous, and Minnesota Duluth's a multiple national champion very recently. So Michigan and Minnesota Duluth, what a matchup that is in that same Fargo, North Dakota region there. We'll see what happens. Wisconsin will be playing Bemidji State. I think we all know who we want to win there, even though Wisconsin's got some exciting players. Oh, my God, Cole Caulfield's insane. And they were kicking our butts in that third period, thankfully. Jack LaFontaine held on. Whew. Minnesota Gophers win the Big Ten, of course. Bemidji bleeping State. Good job. Hopefully they can do it. Hopefully they can pull off a little upset there against Scotty. In the Webster Bank, Bridgeport, Connecticut region is what it is. Massachusetts. That is with Philip Lindbergh. Go Philly. Go Philip Lindbergh. Really excited about that. Playing against Lake Superior State. They're finally back. I just kept staring at that. I'm like, wait a minute. When's the last time Lake Superior State was in it? It had to be the mid-'90s, right? Yep, 1996. Because I remember when they destroyed the Gophers in one of the regions years ago and went on and won multiple national championships. They won in 88, 92, and 93, if I remember correctly. 94. It was kind of like, a 4-year gap and then a 2-year gap. But they won 3 national championships, all with Mr. Jackson, who's now coaching Notre Dame. He was the coach of that club. All 3 national championships. Pretty cool. Go Massachusetts, though, even though it'd be cool to see Lake Superior State. I always thought it was in Superior, Wisconsin, but it's actually in Michigan. That's kind of weird. They're the Lakers. Cool. Minnesota versus Omaha in the Budweiser Event Center in Colorado. So luckily we're not playing against the Colorado College or Denver or anything, so that would suck. Omaha is not an easy matchup, even though they're only 14-10 compared to the Gophers 23-6. We're the number 3 seed in the whole NCAA tournament. Wisconsin's number 4 because we beat them in the Big Ten championship game and have a slightly better record as well. That was pretty freaking cool at the end of the day. I hope the Gophers can pull this off. Obviously, kind of a tough bracket. It always is. But the super bracket's really tough as well, considering who we might end up playing if we actually get to the Frozen Four. Whew, it's not going to be easy. That's like the super bracket, you can say. Again, Minnesota State will play Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac, who went to the national championship game years ago and got demolished by North Dakota. Ugh. God. I'd take Quinnipiac 10 out of 10 over North Dakota. I think they're my least favorite college team. Them and Denver. I can't stand them. For a while there, I had a big dislike for St. Cloud as well, but I don't know. Boston College. Again, like I said, the super bracket. Boston College is the number 2 overall seed in the NCAA tournament, and you got all those wild prospects, every one of them boldy. And, Mr. Mason Shaw. It's it's exciting. All these Jack McBain, all these stud players that are great college players. Hopefully, will go on to be good NHL players, if not great as well. It's going to be fun. Nikita Nesterenko, my goodness, he is something else as well. He's in Boston College. He's about a point-a-game guy as a freshman, 19 years of age. So at least 4 guys there on Boston College. Matthew Boldy, of course. Will he join the Iowa Wild or Minnesota Wild at the end of the year? We'll see what happens. Obviously, great season, great sophomore year. And I think he's going to turn pro, most likely. When you consider he's a fairly high draft pick. He's been very successful. Odds are he will go pro. Boston College versus Notre Dame, an ever frustrating club. Mediocre record. A lot of people thought they shouldn't have made it, and other teams maybe should have had a crack at it. But it is what it is. St. Cloud State versus Boston University was always dangerous. Though people also thinking, gosh, they missed too many games this year with the COVID protocols. Only 10-4-1 on the year. Weird record. St. Cloud State, though, in the NCAA tournament. And should the Gophers come out versus Minnesota State Mavericks or Quinnipiac, and of course you have to beat Omaha before you even worry about that. We might end up playing Boston College, St. Cloud State, or Boston U. That's not going to be easy at the end of the day. I do think the Gophers can absolutely do this. I think they can win the national championship, but Boston College is going to be very tough. North Dakota's what they are. Even Wisconsin could be a pain in the ass. And what if Minnesota Duluth's waiting for us? They always beat us. Teams like Minnesota Duluth and Notre Dame seems like they always find a way to beat us. But at the end of the day, hoping for the best for the Gophers. I know a lot of you like Duluth. A lot of you like the Mankato State Mavericks. Some of you might like Notre Dame. And if you like North Dakota, boy, I don't want to offend you, but I'm not rooting for your team. And I think Brennan Quast is a Wisconsin guy as well. MNW prospects, Brennan Quast. Yep, and I know Justin Bakke, Minnesota Duluth. So all you guys are against me. I hate it. Why can't we be friends? No. With that said, we'll take a break. I better get to fan interaction and wrap things up. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 3, fan interaction. Looks like there's a decent amount of questions, so that's good. Some of us kind of sad thinking there aren't too many, but it looks like there's some at least, and I appreciate every one of you that interact with this show. I just want to say that right now. Even if it's quiet, I appreciate those of you that have. It means a lot. It really does. Tanae Brown out of New Zealand. Vince Germano out of Australia. Justin Bakke, thank you very much. Locally, Minnesota. And Derek Felska, Western Wisconsin, of course, from Minnesota at the end of the day. All retweeted the most recent episode. Thank you guys so much. Episode 254, Arizona Sweep. This one, we'll see what we call it. It's just kind of a mix. I'm still blanking on what I'm going to call it. And then Derek also shared the episode saying, listening to the latest episode of Brave the Wild as he discusses an exciting Minnesota Wild Week prospect updates, and fan interactions and comments from Jay Bushy, Ty Sandstrom, Tom Hayen, Deist24, via Sports Talk. Give it a listen. Thank you guys so much for that. I believe that's Isha. Yep, that's Isha Deist. Oh, that's Justin Bakke. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Sometimes I blank on the Twitter name because it's so different from their real name. Like Brave the Wild doesn't exactly say Joey Owajan, does it? Thank you guys so much for retweeting and liking and such, liking what I said or liking what they said, what Derek said. So, yep, that's nice. Thank you. Looks like Isha actually retweeted it. Yep, Isha and Justin Bakke retweeted when he said, when Derek said he was listening to Brave the Wild. Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. Black Space Gaming, yep. I was ranting a bit during that depressing game. The 5-1 game where Cam Talbot faces the 55 shots. I was saying I sincerely feel bad for Cam Talbot tonight. This is BS. And then Black Space Gaming says we looked flatter than a 5-day-old pop without a top on it. Yeah, we did. We got our asses handed to us. And I was kind of saying I don't care how negative I might sound. It's bullcrap. Radio Fallness followed me. I'm not sure if he's the real Kevin Fallness. I hope so. Maybe. That's cool if he is. Because when you look at who's following them, it might be. So maybe good pods. I hope I'm a good podcast. I hope so. Thank you very much for the follow there also. Okay, here we go. He's talking about the retweet. Yep, Derek Velska retweeting the show. Or actually, no, from his from Teresa Ferry's column. That's really cool. The preview of the game. So now I got to move up a bit because some of these are kind of like outside and this and that. Then I can get to the BTW MNs and such. Bailey followed. There was an interesting follow too as well that I think might be related to somebody and the Wild Prospects again. It's been happening a little bit lately, which I really, really, really appreciate. Here we go. Now we're getting some. Okay, yep. And then Derek was saying, got a Minnesota Wild question on your mind, and thank you always, Derek. Yep, means a lot. It really does. I said, so the NHL stripped Tim Peel of his officiating duties for his comments about wanting to penalize the team early in the game. Is he just a scapegoat by the NHL for a practice you see in virtually all sports at any level? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think he is, yeah, because it seems like it does happen at every level all the time. It does. So I think he is just a scapegoat. So I agree if that's what you're saying there at the end of the day. Derek says, the NCAA men's hockey tournament field has been announced. Yep, well, yes, yep, I love it. For the first time ever, all 5 of the Minnesota programs are going to the tournament. Who do you think of those teams has the best chance to win it all, and why? Who is your dark horse of that group? To win it all, I do think, yeah, I'm a homer. I do think it's the Minnesota Gophers. We are the top-ranked club. We have really an overall very, very deep team with a very good goaltender. I do think the Gophers have the best chance to win the whole thing. I do believe that. Minnesota State Mavericks have never won a NCAA tournament game ever, yet they do have the best goalie in the nation. So that's a big threat. The second best team most likely to win it, you might say Minnesota Duluth, just because they're insane success. Who cares what their record is? I mean, didn't they win it with like one of the worst records? Their first of their back-to-backs, because it seems like 4 years ago. Yeah, it is 3 years ago, because we didn't get to have a tournament last year. Maybe Minnesota Duluth would have been the first three-peat. I would say they're the number 2 most likely, because they just have an overall, they're so well coached. Nick Sweeney's clutch, guys like that. They just know how to win. I don't care what their record is. It's just, they're in a very, very, very tough bracket. And, of course, they'd even have to get past the likes of Wisconsin or even Philip Lindbergh, who I think is one of the better goalies in the tournament. There's no question. He's an NHL prospect. I do believe the Gophers are the most likely team to get it done. I guess the dark horse is Minnesota Duluth in a sense, because St. Cloud, I just don't see it. I don't see them winning a national championship. I don't. They're okay, but they got to play Boston University and Boston College potentially. Good luck with that. I mean, that's the one thing that was always the Gophers' weakness in the past, in the 90s and in the 70s and such, where the Boston Universities, Boston Colleges, and even in 2012, Boston University knocked the Gophers out in the Frozen Four. There's always there's always one of those Boston clubs that's going to knock you out, it seems like. Hopefully that's not the case for the Gophers in the Frozen Four going forward. Might end up being none of us, but if it's anybody, I do think it's Minnesota. Yes, it might sound homerish, but, well, we did have the best team this year. We had the best team. Minnesota Duluth is a close second at the end of the day. They are outstanding. Love to see Bemidji State go on a run, especially if they knock out Wisconsin in the first round, which would be pretty cool. That's what they'd have to do to even go on a run, is knock them out. But to me, it stands with the Gophers at the moment. Why did they pick this one? Whoops, I probably bumped something. Very exciting. I'm really looking forward to this. The Gophers last made the tournament in 2016. We were the number 4 seed and got knocked off by Mickey frickin' Jeff Jackson and Notre Dame. I hated it. I hate Notre Dame with a passion. Ugh. And I remember back in the day with Wisconsin, Lake Superior State, what was it, like 8-1 or something? Oh, my God. It was like 8-2 or something. It was BS. They whooped us back in 92, and that was a good Gopher team. All right, so let's continue. The Iowa, Derek Felska, I just called him Brent again. Derek Felska says the Iowa Wild continue to struggle even as they are starting to get some of their ringers back in the lineup, like Mayhew. Yeah, he's back. Does this Iowa Wild team have the ability to turn its fortunes around, What do you think is their biggest weakness? I would say goaltending at the moment, because I don't know why Derek Brabo hasn't been playing. Is he injured? Is he sick? I would say goaltending for sure. It's kind of a little bit of everything, but they have scores. Maybe the chemistry just isn't right because guys are so up and down. It's depressing. They have guys that can score. Injuries have obviously been a problem as well. Hunter Jones, I mean, if he's in the net every night, I don't know. I don't think his confidence is where it needs to be. Boy, it's not. And I can't imagine why it would be. He's literally getting thrown to the wolves. What is he, 19? And he gave up like 8-9 goals in his first couple games. I hope it's not killing him. I mean, he's a 59th overall pick in 2019. He is 20 as of September 21st. So he's very young, obviously. Very solid for the Peterborough Petes. But that's junior level, which is significantly below the AHL. And he was 19 at the time. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's been a big struggle. Eight games for Hunter Jones. I was so happy for him when he got that win the other night against the Rockford Heights Dogs. Doesn't help that Louis Belpedio's been hurt either. It sucks, but goaltending's the weakness. Can they turn it around? Yes. As long as Jones becomes more of the backup or he goes back to juniors. But he probably isn't going to be able to. It looks like the OHL is just screwing around, just like the Q and the BCHL. Derek Barrebo, he's been awesome, 2.36, but he's been out for some freaking reason. It sucks. Good player. He's actually a really solid goaltender. He's 22 years old, and he's got professional material in him. He started with. I remember he was at the Allen Americans last year for a while, and then got called up to Iowa. So he's been good though so far. All right, so we'll continue onward. I'll try not to babble too much, even though it's cool to talk about, of course. And Iowa's a big deal to me. I mean, I love focusing on the minor leagues and such, because it's nice to have a good, strong minor league where you see guys develop and such. And obviously some veterans that can help those young guys also, like, Dumont. He's been playing great. Derek Felski continues, says, the Kirill Kaprizov, again, this is at Brave the Wild, by the way, the Kirill Kaprizov, Matt Zuccarello, and Victor Rask line, a.k.a. Lettuce line, has cooled off a bit as of late. Yeah, they are like frozen lettuce, or whatever the word is. What do you think can be done to get that line going and productive again? Well, hopefully the weaker goaltending coming up with St. Louis. A little puck luck, a little bit of that. I mean, it is things like that. Maybe, obviously, if you need to switch Victor Rask out for somebody, but that hasn't always had a whole lot of success either. But like a Joel Eriksson Ek possibly with Victor Rask, maybe switch those two around, because Ek's back in the third line, which is kind of weird. Ek is, but when you consider he's more of a second or third line guy, but on this lineup, what are you going to do? I mean, somebody has to be the top line center, and Victor Rask, I don't know. Matt Zuccarello, they need a little puck luck. That's a huge thing. A little puck luck. And again, the weaker goaltending coming up with St. Louis and especially San Jose Sharks. It's stuff like that. Maybe they can really get going. And the Wild do win these three games in a row this week, putting their win streak to 5 all of a sudden after getting demolished by Colorado. That'd be pretty cool, actually, should that take place. I do think it's the weaker goaltending, though, that'll help them. Well, there's likes mostly. Here we go, Jay Bushy. Thank you, Jay. Yeah, thank you, Jay, for joining, and I appreciate that. He says, so far, I haven't seen what I thought I would from Fiala. In my opinion, he's a game breaker, but I've wanted more from him. I know that feeling. Oh, my God. Maybe it's always having different line mates or a good center that he has chemistry with. Your thoughts? I think that's exactly what it is. The chemistry is just not there right now. He needs somebody to make plays for him. He can't do it himself, that kind of thing. He's not as creative as a Kaprizov. That's been a major talker of late. He's a great scorer, but he needs a center. He needs somebody to make plays for him. And even sometimes just a winger can make plays for him. Part of me is so curious, man. Like we've all wanted this, but you don't want to put all the best players in the same line, and then all the other lines are like nothing. But I don't know. I mean, it's possible, like a Ek Greenway type of line. Could be something. Ek Greenway, Zuccarello. It'd be tough to split up Zuccarello and Kaprizov, but it's not. But if it's not working, why not have Kaprizov and Fiala play together? I don't know. That might sound crazy, but it's a big problem. Some people are even hoping that Marcus Johansson could maybe help a little bit, because obviously he can play center or he can be a helpful guy, a playmaker at the end of the day. Though I haven't seen much from that guy, even though he has returned and we're hoping for the best from him. Haven't seen a whole lot from him. It's a big problem. It's a big problem. Fiala's kind of on an island. That's kind of what's been the issue with him. That's what it is. And yeah, always having different line mates. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess for him right now. It's been a frustrating year, but he's more than worthy of being an elite scorer in the NHL. I truly believe that. Teresa Ferries, here we go. And this was a cool question, actually. Says, if the Wild's power play was an 80s movie, what movie would it be? I know Tom Hayen has a funny one here. He says, Better Off Dead. I was saying I have to think about it because I wasn't really sure. And then I came up with, whenever they actually score, I would call it They Live. Like, yeah, they live. They're alive. Otherwise, what was the other one I was thinking about? It was something like, well, it's definitely not the Three Amigos, more like the Lost Boys. I kind of like that. Like when they don't score, the Lost Boys, or the Never-Ending Story. Like the Never-Ending Story, the power play is just not getting better. You could just go on and on. You know, once you can pull up a list, it's funny. 40, no, it's not that. I would say, yeah, I'm probably going to go with that one. The Lost Boys, or the Never-Ending Story. And of course, when they actually do score, they live. They live, even though it's not really related to, like, being, like, yeah. But you get the idea. Just the sound of the name. Because we all know how that movie was actually quite funny and interesting. Not funny. It was good, though. Happy the Wild won. Did I retweet that? I didn't. I apologize. I will retweet that now, Derek. Boom. There it goes. I think that's everything. Preview. I did repeat the preview. And then there's the funny one about the ref penalty. It wasn't much, but I wanted to get a bleeping penalty against Montreal early in the period. Yup. I think that's everything. Yep. Okay. So with that, I'm going to check just in case, but I think that is it. Just in case. But I'm pretty sure they all popped up when I went to the button here. And now it probably won't be in order. Yep, what is this? That's not it. Burning question, Teresa Ferries, Dave Johnson. That's much long ago. Yep, I miss hearing from Dave. I think I did fairly recently, though. At least. But most of these are not recent, not current. Yep, so I think that's it for now, unfortunately. Yeah, Dave was on the last show, actually. That's cool. Then Jay, there he is. I think that should be it all. So with that said, I really appreciate those of you that have interacted with the show. I understand if some of you are busy or just too much crap going on. Oh, here's Mike. I don't think I ever read this one. Nope, that was from way back. Whoops, my bad. I hope I read that on that show. I think I did. That's from way back, like a year ago. Crazy how it pulls up ones from all over the place. I hope I did get to everybody, though. That's why I'm checking again. I'm always kind of nervous. I don't want to let people down, like ignore them, you know. Okay, yep, that's everything for now. With that said, thank you, those of you that did interact. I always deeply appreciate it. Thank you, Derek, for retweeting. Thank you so much for rounding up the questions and such. Always appreciate what you do. Everyone else out there, again, please tell your friends about the show. Greatly appreciated. Shout outs to Minnesota Wild Global, Scott Cavendish, Chad Walski, Chance Kostick, David Kostick, Kathy Main, David Abraham, Michael Fick. Always appreciate you out there. Hope to hear from some of you more. I should probably interact with them on the Twitter or on Facebook some more. Probably should get more Facebook going maybe at some point. It's not that the Facebook page hasn't really been very active though. It's more the Twitter with Brave the Wild. Purple Mafia seems to be a bit of both, and Timberwolves is kind of a bit of both as well. Timberwolves Explosion. With that said, again, continuing shout-outs, Minnesota Wild Nation, Patrick Turner, awesome page as well. Thank you guys so much for good friendship and such, and allowing me to post links to the show. M&W Prospects, of course, they do such a phenomenal job, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. It's just the two junior leagues that I cover for that page have not been active. The Q and the BCHL have not been active this year. It's just been a weird year. It is what it is. We all know what's going on, so no reason to talk about it anymore. It's been nonstop. So, generally speaking, really happy to be a part of M&W Prospects. They're enjoying this tournament and all that. Unfortunately, none of them are Gopher fans. What the heck? But at least Isha and Hoppy are both of the Soda Pot are both cheering for the Gophers. So thank you guys. Shout out to you for that. Thank you so much. Always appreciate that. Go Gophers. I mean, we need more support, damn it. Everyone's branched out. Oh, yeah, I'm cool now because I'm a Mavericks fan or I'm a St. Cloud State fan. No, yeah, okay, that's nice. And I know some people might have been from the Twin Cities, but they like those other teams. So it's like they branch out because who cares about the Gophers? That's true for the other ones. Nope, I'm sticking with the Gophers. With that said, please write a positive rating on Apple Podcasts, Audible, or Stitcher. Those are the 3 places that it's available to be able to do that I know of. I'm not sure if it's available on the other apps. I always check, but I don't see it. So it is what it is. At the end of the day, well, so see what happens at the end of the day. Thank you for those of you that have written positive ratings. For those of you that could, please do. Really appreciate it if you could. It only helps the show make a little look a little better to potential new listeners. Of course, do download the Vig It app and make the referral Paladinolive. You can join the show as a with an audio submission. If you'd like to do that, simply record it on your smart device. Open up any free voice recording application out there. Press record, talk, hit stop, and share it / email it to paladinolive@yahoo.com, paladinolive@yahoo.com. With that, I'm going to wrap things up. Hope you have a great week and hope the Wild end up winning 3 games in a row this upcoming week.